I am Crime Queen, and if you're joining us for the first time, it's the channel where we have fun with words and numbers, numerology to be precise. This is where we are activating self-full love. Of course, self-full love is where we can have so much love and we can just throw a bunch of love on anyone we choose to without feeling depleted. Okay, and one way of really ensuring we are able to do that is finding out how effective words are, and of course, numerology, through numerology, and seeing how we can impact or how words impact on our lives and how we use them. So basically, I have just explored the word bring, for example, and which has the word ring in it. And of course, with the word ring, there is no beginning and no end. And so when we say use the word bring and it has a B, it is the B itself is saying be a ring, like ignite, like roll, roll like a ring, or be a ring where um I don't know why the tune a ring of roses come to mind, but it's that ring that can contain something. So the ring itself, whether it was a tune that you heard, the ring of a sound, then it would have something in it, or you can add a meaning to it. It's like having a ring on your finger. Your finger is in the ring, so that's what bring is about. When you bring something to someone, there is a receptivity of that thing. So it needs to find its other half. Okay, or quarter, whatever that may be. We are going about we are delving in Genesis of chapter 1, and my new discovery, which I have delayed on really, but I feel I need to honor what I have just seen. And so basically, I have announced that there are nine gods or nine participants of entities in the creation of Genesis of chapter 1, and I also saw another five in chapter 2. So that would mean 9 plus 5 equals 14, and 1 plus 4 is 5. That 5 is really the embodiment of Mother Eve. So basically, all the gods that are in Genesis and in Genesis of chapter 1 and 2 form the embodiment of Mother Eve. But I find it interesting to begin to understand the construct. It's like having your arm or knowing what is your arm. So if you're familiar with what your arm is and its function, then of course you can optimize its use and see how best you can use your arm. And that's why one of the reasons why I feel that it is important that we uncover, like we call revelation into being, we uncover the makeup of our construct, because it's important that we know who we are. So, okay, so the first God that I realized, of course, that's in Genesis, was the God of movement. That God of movement, I think I'm beginning to love him. So he is no he doesn't just sit around and just talk or whatever. He is a God of movement. So this is where it said the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the deep. Okay, so he's the God of movement. God of movement. Okay, I've just got move here. So but it was moved. So we have done the value for moved, and there we see that it is 4, 6, 5, 4, sorry, 5, 4. We've done this. 9, and so this is 9, 19, 9 and 10, 19, and 5 is 24. So I might have done this. So, yeah, 9, 10, 19, 20, 24. So he is 6. He is sexy. That's the God of movement. Okay. Now, the God of movement. But the other thing that I felt was very surprising what I saw. What I saw. And of course, when we see, sometimes I think now I'm becoming mindful of the words that I use, because so is really that you have not got the whole altogether. You have seen one part and then you were anticipating seeing the other part, but you saw, and it really means like division or separateness. So, one thing I observed was that, and I like the O in observed because it gives me a sense that I saw the wholeness of what is. In Genesis, that we have the God said. The God said, which is the God. Um, I can imagine. It's like a child. I've just remembered. It's like my child would say, and he said, children always have a story to tell. And that said, I think that God said would be the God of stories. And oh, and do you know, he said I wasn't very pretty, and he said, and she said, and that is the God of, I was almost going to say it's the God of gossip. So, isn't that where the word gossip? Let's see. Okay. So, but it would, the P here. I'm doing this to see whether I could get the word God from there, because the P, if we turn the P the upward, like G, O, and the P would be like or it would be gob. Well, that's explanatory as well. Or if we turned it, because the P could be a D as well. Okay, so that's the God of the talk, who has a lot to say. And so much so that the God said was present 10 times. So in actual fact, we could say he was balanced. We have to say he was balanced here. The God of said. God said, let's give him some space on here, because this is the first time I'm really exploring this the God said, and I I feel he's going to have his makeup in me, and where I would say, and God said, SAID. Okay. And God said, now, this could be a female. In fact, I am believing now that God said is really not a he God. I believe that God said is Eve. Oh, I said it. I actually said it. Now, this is the kind of thing that when you start delving and you start seeing things. You see things that you had never seen before. I have read this chapter many, many times. And okay, it's not like I've gone blurred, but I am seeing more, you know, and God said. Now, why I am like, I find this God said very amusing. Now, let's see where God comes from to begin with. So, the title God, God is a title. When it is said, and God said, God is it, we have done this, which is 7, 6, 4. So, that is 17. So, God is 17 equals 8. And God said, so said is his, let's say it's his title or his function, because your name tests is your character. So that's his character, that's his name. It's like here in London, they would say Mr. Butcher or Mrs. Smith. Oh, there's the famous movie. um, or Mrs. Fisher. And that's the same for hair. God said. Okay. So what I saw with God said, and I've done a little bit on this. So this is the God said. The God said is the serpent. I've said it's the serpent. I have also said the it's the serpent. It's the one who is very intelligent, very clever. This is the said God. This is the said God. It sounds like court. When you say, is it the said person, or it sounds like a court case, really? Okay. So this is the said God. Now, the said God, we can see, this is, I'm just saying that D here, it's like half of the whole. It's like the moon, half of the moon or half of the sun. Okay. But I am seeing, and I like the eye here as well, the eye. So there is an eye, there is one eye here, which would seem to, I just remember the word, well, there's the word aid and there's the word AIDS. I've got a chill over me. Where did they come from with this? Come from? Where did they get this? It's AIDS. Nothing new under the sun. It's AIDS. So what was the purpose? I'm feeling like now, well, I've got this belief that AIDS was a man-made um, disease, and talk about the serpent and the smartness and the cunning um, acts. Okay, I'm trying to keep my peace. So the God said, were they trying to quiet the God said by creating AIDS? Okay, let's see his the value here. I said his could be her, is her. Okay, 194. So this is 10 and 5, 15. So we've done that. 15 is really, I am, okay, 15 is 6. So we see the God said, or the God of AIDS. This is really something. And it's about the time that this AIDS became very blown, and there's 1352, 53 going up on the timer. And I've always said that the number 13 is what is used to create whatever manipulation people have been doing. Also, it can be used for good, but it have been used when I first realized it, and this is the second time I'm having this realization that this has been used to control people, to, I'm almost about to ask, why have I come onto that realization? The number 13 have been, of course, it's on 14 now. Okay, Spirit is talking to me. but it's just that it feels I'm just. And the other synchronicity that's on here is that I'm talking about the God said, and the God said actually begins on Genesis of chapter 1, verse 3. So I also had added 1 plus 3, and I've done a presentation on that already, showing where that 13 is. But of course, I have been trying to um, perhaps I am feeling a little emotional with this now. The God said, and it's that, so God said is 6, but also we see the 3 because 13 is 3, it's also 3, it's that bond, it's that being. And it's the SAID going by our template. The SA because it's sacrifice. The minds of the people who are behind those acts are so deep and so vast. I don't even want to say that too much, perhaps maybe very shallow too. Um, but it's just the sort of thing we hadn't seen before. So the said God is 6, 15. And that meant the AIDS, of course, which was announced, it was a new thing. It was that position, or it is that position because it still exists. And it's no wonder, I think there have been reports that it, it cannot come back, or it's the end of that cycle because, of course, whoever had to swallow it up, I don't know. But it's so whenever something comes into that new cycle, of course, it has to go back and okay, so um, let's go back to the God said. So the God said is 6. The God said is 6 here. This is where people eat or foods and get contaminated as well, or get illuminated to some extent too. But this would denote to this where the children of Israel oh, sorry, it's not the children of Israel, but it's the disciples with Christ. Um, and Christ had also performed miracles and had of bread and wine, and baskets of bread was left over. But there is the place of agreement, the place of partnership, the place of harmony, the place of breast and buttocks, and the meaning the place of nurturing, the place of the lips, the upper lips as well, and the place of the nostrils, the all these curves as well, that are part of this makeup hair as well. So in this place is really very profound because this is the place that I'm talking about, the 13. This is the 13 with Christ at the table. And of course, with the story um, of Judas as well betraying Christ. So there's that I'm just seeing there's it's just what I've seen have got me a little bit airy. Okay, but However, um, it's two is very strong in that it's that bond. Of course, having the B, you can break that bond as well, because this is where um, you are likely to have that, to break that bond, as we saw with Judas. Okay, there's the luck and development and the new we are talking about. Once you have got into that state, you have to move, or you make the decision to move to this side, you go through the motion. You go through that motion. So back to the God said. So the God said actually would say, let there be, let the water, let, it's it's like he was the supervisor with the word S as well. So it'd be interesting to do the word supervisor. He was the supervisor. He'd say, let there be light. Let there be, or she, let's say she, because I am believing that the God said is, which comes on the 15, has to be the God of Eve, the God, the goddess, the God, the mother God Eve. There we are, because the mother God Eve from the waters, of course, which is the genes. This is where everything is birthed. So six is the six we are talking about there, because this aids or said comes to 15. We cannot shift it anywhere else. It has to find its position right here. In the men, it is there with the men. It is with the when. It is with the new. It is here. We find also, we could see there's the other thing. There's the relationship. When I say that the S is, we see the S, of course, we are told that the snake was the wisest of all creatures. Now, if we have been termed as creatures from the waters, when God said, let the creatures that have life come out of the waters, that which have life, then it is all right to say that we are creatures, and so the serpent was a creature, or we and the serpent are one and the same. Hence, we are talking about the Kundalini as well. But let's not go too much into this now. So, the Kundalini rise is really the serpent. So, Mother Eve is really the serpent, which is really her. The serpent, which is the Christ. The Christ and the serpent and Mother Eve are one and the same. Now, I didn't think that this has really, I was surprised when I saw that, or when I observed that, let's say, when I observed that, and it made sense, but I hesitated. How am I going to convey this? How am I going to say this? And then I also saw that this is where I was coming with this, that, okay, the S, the God of said, is really the serpent who who aids, who aids. Now, of course, beginning and end is the same, so we could say who aids the who aids whatever is, or who aided in creation, who aid, almost sounding like who ate, who aid. Now let's see what aid is. Of course, 9 and 4 is so 9 and 1 is 10, and 4 is 14. So this is exactly where Mother Eve is as well. 14 right here. 1 plus 4 is 5. So the snake hair, as I often say, is that symbol of wisdom, is the snake. And perhaps it's no wonder the word sacrifice have two, it not only have the S here, but it has the A. Oh, A is also with the same, it also consists of the same value, if you like, of S, which is 1. So there are two ones here. It's like these two ones in the word sacrifice conveys the duality of Mother Eve's personality and ability to create. So basically here we have the God said, and this would be, and this ought to be very evident in the male female, although I have said that Mother Eve is both male female and quite balanced, but the S in front of the aid, which we learn that the female, later on God created the female as a help mate for Adam. So help is really the word aid. Aid is to aid someone to do something. So we can see here how that the character, the characteristic of the of the Creator, had found itself um, in that dimension or in that function to give to man that function of help, to give a helpmate. It's the God of said, the God of aid, the God of mother. Now you can only give what you are. So if the woman or the female in that point, in this aspect, not the woman, because I think that holds another essence. If the female is meant to be of a helpmate, which like some say helpmate, that means that that aspect of her has to come out in that creation, has to be deposited, has to be transferred into that female. So more of the female can only give of the female aspect. If I am raising my son, I am not able to give him as much of the masculine nurturing that a man possibly could do. So there we see how the God said, the God of sound and the God of speech, and it's now we are really making sense here. The God of sound, the God of speech, the God said, the God who said 10 times that God said, and that God aid. So that God can only give what he and everything that she is. So she has deposited that aspect of her makeup in the female. Hence why women tend to chat more than men. Hence why women are more nurturing than men in this sense. Hence why women are more intuitive than men. So we can see that the God said, which again, with the spirit of sound mind, as Miles Monroe would say, you give a woman a word and she has so much, she creates a sentence. You give her a paragraph, she gives you a book. something to that effect, because she has the spirit of sound mind. But something had been created to change this around and come with a disease called AIDS. Now, that is really not very nice. Although I am trying not to make judgments, I am trying to, um, well, I have understood the essence of being non-judgmental. But this is what happens as well when you get to this place and your eyes open to everything. And of course, we have the memory of pain. We have the memory of what it's like to be on the other side of the fence, so to speak. So we can see here we have Mother Eve. This S is very, because 14 is the exact 14. And we do the numerical value for Mother Eve is 5, 4, 5. 10 and 4 plus 14. This equals 14 is 5. So this is what we are talking about. So the God said now, this is another thing that the God said now. So now I am, because the serpent had seen as such an awful creature, one who was, he's the wisest of all creatures, but cunning. And no one really, it has been portrayed to be so evil, so we wouldn't really want to take on this wisdom. And I'm glad to see 32 on the screen because it's 5 as well, denoting Mother Eve and Christ and so on. But what has transpired here now is Eve has Eve is the said God. Eve is the said God. Eve is the God who has been talking, and now she's talking and she's saying when. Because she's been saying, let there be a firmament, let there be waters. She has been very instrumental in this. I hadn't realized that. She's saying, let there be light in the firmament, because she's beneath in the dark and she can see what needs being done. She'll say, let the waters bring forth. She would say those things. She is in herself, which is what she is teaching us now. We can do that and say and speak to different parts of our being and say, let my body, let my heart be glad. We see that in the Psalms all the time. And King David, let my heart be glad in the Lord. Let my spirit be filled. And so Mother Eve had been talking and let the earth bring forth. And God said, let. It's like the word let as well. It's like renting. Let. It's balance. It's 10. There's the balance. It's both male and female. It's of polarities. So basically, at that stage, it's like there is a mirror aspect. There is the illusion, or one can see through. Okay, I like the see through word. And so anytime we hear and God said, let there be, let the. So there we have three, let there be 3 times in the God said, let there be. And I've done, yes, in fact, I'm saying yesterday as if you would know which day, but I did the numerical value to show how 10 is also 3. And this is when everything is working so well together. So 10, when we do the numerical value as 10, this way, this is 5. And I felt that that was Mother Eve here as well. So this is 12. And when we add 1 plus 2, that equals 3. When we do the numerical value for the word 3, it equals 11, if I remember clearly. So this is 28955. Again, wherever we see fives, that's Mother Eve signature right there. Okay, so this is 1029. 2 plus 9 is 11. So we could see how 10 becomes 3, how 3 becomes 2. So again, we see when it is said about the Trinity, we see here where Christ is referred to as the three in one, and of course the word Jesus. And it was not by chance that Christ had that name Jesus, which equals 11. Jesus, which is 1 5, his mother's signature, 1 3, and the 3 we are talking about, which is the 10, and it is 1. Now, there's another thing that I also have realized, like I was saying, the this is so profound. The last two letters of Jesus. And which reminds me, there is a character in the Bible called Jess or Jesse as well. But 31, isn't 31 the 4 that we have been talking about that goes in the east, in the west, sorry, of father? Father is meaning further, or the 4, which for the forehead. And so we see how things are intertwined here. But it is on this point of the 10 the 10, let there be, the God said, it is on this point of the USA, which really, oh, it's that aid thing. Okay, so it's on verse 26, which is 8, which happens to be 8. Verse 26 of Genesis of chapter 1, 26, 2 plus 6 equals 8. But it is on that verse that we get, let us make man. Everything else goes into let there be, let the. So basically, we have behind the word let is there or the. There or the. For 8 consecutive times, which would be 8. So there is also 29. So let there is 29 like 3, and that is said 3 times. So that would be 33, which is like Genesis. Genesis is 33. Let the, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 thus, which would be 60, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4, 6 is a 24. 2 plus 4 is 6. So it's 24, and 2 plus 4 is 6. So all the time, we could see that so basically there are 2 sets of 6s right there. In that formation, there are 2 6s being reflected there. We could say the 24 hours of the day. There's lots to do with 24, which I don't clearly recall right now. But then we see with the first 33 is that vibration, the double vibration that we need, that would be propelling us to becoming, doing, or whatever it is, or creating. And that is Mother Eve. There we are saying that Adam and Eve, this we could say that that was Adam and Eve right here as well. That is the other Adam and Eve, the one who have also even showed us how to eat the apple. Okay. Um, because she was the mother of all living and the wife of Adam, I should say Adam's wife. Okay. So on that one says, let us. Now us is four. Us equals four. It's 3 and 1 for us. I've done it on here. Let us. So it's us and it's 3 plus 1. And this is why we have like Revelation equals 13. And Revelation would reveal to us the essence of this which we are looking at right now. But I don't want to I wish to have a second part to this this explanation, so we don't have this too long. And so let me thank you for watching this, and I hope you like it. Please leave your comments, likes, and subscribe, and share, because by sharing is how we learn and how we um, grow together. Okay, so thank you, and I hope it all makes sense. And when we have all these segments, of course, we can see the bigger picture. Thank you.